George, like, I'm just going to say,
when can we start talking about George Springer?
I was going to say, how long until we get to talk about George Springer? And when previously on Dad's Bet Baseball, oh man, look, the Jays are down 3-1. George Springer, boom!
CJ, turn down your TV volume. Yeah,
dude, it was. What is there a better way for us to have cashed that bet?
I mean, so that game, like, just as a baseball fan, that game was fucking awesome.
That game was fucking awesome.
It was just it had every single thing that you want as a fan in one game, and that series had been like pretty lopsided in most of the games. But like when
they were saying that they've never had to Hoffman had never had a save opportunity because they'd been up by so many runs.
Yeah.
Every time he was in
the entire postseason, I think.
Yeah.
Because it was either like they were down so many runs or they were up so many runs. But it was like, I swear, the inning where Springer hit the home run,
crushed. It was just like
it was like a slow motion development of all of the things that I love about playoff baseball. Like why is Brian Wu still in the game? Brian Wu walks the first batter. There's trouble. What the hell is Dan Wilson doing not bringing in Munoz? And like as soon as they took Wu out, I was like, Springer is fucking not like, I didn't know if he was going to hit a home run, but I thought he was going to do something.
He looked so hurt in the game before too. Like he looked in pain, and he nuked that ball. Like it was such a baseball. He nuked that ball.
He literally it was one of those, like, as soon as it came off the bat,
you knew it was gone.
I was like, this is fucking gone. Like this is, and
it was just great because like
it was awesome.
It was awesome. It was perfect. It was your birthday. We won that bet. I tried to immediately get a George Springer jersey, and they're like all sold out.
They're all sold out now. Yeah,
but I'm 100% getting a George. I'm getting a powder blue. I'm getting a nice one too. Like I'm going to spend like the $400 and get like the World Series patch. Like I will wear it. And I don't care. And anyone says to me, like, why are you wearing a George Springer jersey? I will say George Springer got me $2,000 and definitely retired my MGM account. And so
that was also, by the way, like
that's the best part.
That tweet has to be pinned for like the next year because that was basically like the funeral for your MGM account. It was
so great because they were just like, you can't bet anymore. I'm like, well, fine. The last thing I'm going to do is this 40-1 future.
$2,000 out of this future I placed in. I forgot that was middle of January.
It was like January 15th.
Because for some reason I was thinking that was like, because we did, and we'll do this in the show upcoming for like when we get into all the futures in January and February. But we must have. They were one of the later team futures we definitely did
because we were waiting for Sasaki because they signed Santander. Right. I was convinced they were getting Sasaki, and they signed Santander very late.
Yes, they did. Who also has not even.
He's also hurt.
Roster. Yeah, he's also hurt.
He's not even on. Well, we'll talk a little more about it.
I think we bet that did we bet that before Sasaki said no, or did we bet it after?
We bet it the day that. So we bet it. It was getting. We had convinced ourselves. By the way, everybody, Dad's Bet Baseball. Adam Rosenberg, CJ Buskey, Slip and Jimmy, sponsored by HOF Bets. HOFapp.com. Use code DADS. We'll do a proper ad read in a moment, but more on this waxing as you get to hear us glaze about our fucking George Springer Jays bets. By the way, Jesse, when I was on his podcast today talking about us being Canadian wearing a Jays jersey, was just great. I'm just great. Like on a we're all
every Canadian I see wearing Toronto stuff.
Like McInnes is all excited about it too. Like all these guys that I know that are going to help us when hockey comes out for handigraphs are like, they associate me with like the guy who has like a 40-1 Jays future. So yeah, no, we had basically, you and I had convinced ourselves that the Jays hadn't made a lot of big moves because they got to be going after Sasaki, and you and I were like, they got to get it. Like they're gonna get him, and the reason we took that was because the odds just were bonkers for that team. Cause I was just like, well, if he goes there, I'm like, are the Jays good? Cause like we hadn't really kind of figured it out. And I was like, well, the Jays are priced wrong. I don't know if they're good, but they're priced wrong. And then in the days leading, they were like, Sasaki's going to make a decision. And then you and I convinced ourselves that he was going to go there. Cause it's like a quieter arguably a quieter metropolis. Well, it's definitely different than LA. And he didn't. And the reason he didn't is because at the last minute, the Phillies traded to the Dodgers. They gave the Dodgers extra international money, which they used to sign. The Phillies were basically responsible for blocking him to Toronto because they were able to increase their offer, which makes this entire situation in the World Series incredible and bookends that story.
Actually, that is wild. Also, the fact that like Sasaki had to go against the Phillies too, and that was
I know. And like, well, they had made an offer, but they apparently they had offered. I mean, they offered him like much like 80 million or something. He was like, no way, which is fine. It worked out fine. They're gonna probably go after like, what is it, Kikuchi, who's getting posted,
I know there's a new one that just I believe just
he's gonna post, but they're the third baseman. But yeah, man, we'll talk more about it in segment 2. So let's kick this off. We're gonna go to the Hall of Fame bets thing because the World Series we have it. It's Toronto and the Dodgers. I think this is the World Series that we kind of deserve because if you think about it, the Dodgers kind of were it's going to be nice if the Jays are able to pull it off, if they knock off last year's champs. The Dodgers kind of load managed the entire year. And the Jays, it's hard for us to say that the Jays were almost in first place or hovering around first place like all season. Like they never really fell out of it. They had bad numbers because everybody like the Yankees were. So the Yankees started hot and the Jays weren't terrible, but we took just good advantage of that market. So I think what we'll do is we will show Hall of Fame bets and you can see I was looking at Delaware Blue Hen stuff. What of it?
Joe Flacco, alma mater. Let's go.
I know, Joe Flacco, alma mater. All right, so sharing this stuff. So Handigraphs has not been updated. Handigraphs is working right now. Handigraphs, you have like another week left of Handigraphs.
It's not working. It will be updated tomorrow with the starters. So yeah, it'll be.
So we're talking about what kind of bets you want to make for the World Series, and like there's some futures that I want, and I'll let you drive if you want to talk about that. But for batter stuff, there is so in the playoffs, I have been much more into. I told you this the other day. I've been much more into BABIP than I am barrel because the playoffs are so matchup based that I want guys that are just constantly getting making contact, frankly. So obviously you see George Springer here, and Nathan Lukes and Dalton Varsho. And one of the things that I've seen with a lot of these guys is I look for guys that have like decent BABIPs and their ISOs are solid because I'm honestly, this is actually Ernie Clement's perfect. I'm hunting singles. Ernie Clement has an incredible BABIP and his ISO is pretty low. So he's not, and he has one barrel. So like, you cared about barrels. It's like none of these guys are barreling the way George Springer is. Like George Springer, look at George Springer's barrel rate, 18%. So crazy. Let's go to MLB.
He is. I think I texted you today. He's 4th all time in postseason home runs.
He's good, man.
Pretty crazy.
He's really good. Yes. So so knowing that Snell is pitching, and have the Jays announced who's starting for them?
It is. Hold on. Let me look at the. I thought it would be Gausman. I know he. I thought
it would too, but I know that they want Bieber on to be able to pitch as many games as possible. I think Bieber's going 2.
Okay, so I mean, there's no way that Bieber is going
1
because he just pitched. So keep going through here, but I'm looking to see if I can
so look, I use Hall of Fame Bets matchup data on everything but baseball. The only reason why I don't do it on baseball is because we literally run a baseball data site that is kind of our what we think is our matchup stuff. But I use their matchup grade on everything else. I just showed you guys why I liked Ernie Clement because his BABIP's been high. But even if you were like, I'm not on Handigraphs, I'm not going to use HD playoffs and have it for free for a week. I don't care. Ernie Clement has just been consistently rocking, and singles have so much value in the playoffs. -104 for him to have a single. He has had one in let's filter this to the playoff games only. He has had one in all but 3 playoff games. This is what he does. He actually did hit a bomb in one of the games, but I like it. He had his last his playoff games. I mean, I know Snell is not is no cupcake, but he had 3 against a lefty. I wonder who's pitching that game. Would have been pitching that game again in the Yankees. Oh, would have been Fried. 3 against Fried, and then probably within the bullpen. But this is basically even money for him to have a single. So that is absolutely going to be my prop that I'm going to take on Friday for game 1. I know he's at the bottom of the order. It kind of keeps things going, but Ernie Clement, minus 104 for a single. Again, he has done this, and he's one of those contact hitters. He is the Toronto Tommy Edman, in my opinion. So he also is second in hits. Yeah.
So, he is. Right. He's quite good. I'm looking actually here to see, because I've got I don't know if I want to give. I have a future actually, not so much a game 1 prop, since we already kind of went through that. I don't know if we want to get into like World Series specific futures.
I have some futures, but I thought that you wanted to like. I see Joe talking about the ladder, which is not a terrible idea. I don't know the ladder, but like I think his walks are definitely going to be in play against this team. But did you have a prop that you liked before we talked about a couple futures on it, or no?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think I'm just looking here at what is. Let me see if I'm pulling this up here on Hall of Fame bets, because so Toronto, like the whole thing with Toronto, has been obviously like they're this great contact hitting team. They are, they work counts, blah blah blah. They also they're going up against Blake Snell in game 1. But by the way, so Gausman is not confirmed. That seems to be the rumored starter, but they have not.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. I noticed that's not in there. By the way, I'm looking on Handigraph's data on Toronto, because our team stats actually include everything.
Yes, they do. Yeah,
and so just so that everybody knows, and we talk about them not Kang a lot. This is a little
okay.
Yeah, you go. Yeah.
You saw exactly where I was.
Yeah.
There are a lot of guys in Toronto's lineup that are Kang quite a bit to left-handed pitchers, and that includes
27%, man.
Lucas, Springer, Barger. All 4 of them are 23% or above, and a couple of them are 25% or above, and usually, one of the more, I guess I would say, square bets you're going to make in the most high profile series in baseball is on strikeouts. But I think it's kind of wild that Blake Snell for 8Ks is 2-1 right now on FanDuel. And he has been basically since he's gotten healthy. So starting on August 29th, he has cleared this in basically every start but 2. He averages nearly 8Ks per game, and in the postseason, 9, 9, 10 so far. And then you've got almost half the lineup of Toronto that is Kang in about almost 24% or more against left-handed pitching. So I just think 2-1 for 8Ks is like great price for Snell, and I expect him to kind of go deep in this first game anyways. So
yeah, let me tell you another reason I like it. So also, full transparency, we will not be betting this because we actually already did.
We have Snell K leader.
We have Snell K leader. So
if he gets 8Ks, we actually.
But if you did not, if you did not tell us on Snell K leader, you should make this bet. But you should also bet him for World Series MVP if you did not bet him for K leader. But the other thing is that the Dave Roberts who went to his bullpen earlier in the playoff, I think that guy is dead. My expectation of this team is that they load manage these alpha pitchers to the end of the season at such a degree that Snell can go 9 innings and he would be at 70 for the year. So I will be very surprised if you see the bullpen unless the game's getting out of hand. I actually think that they're going to try to get as many innings out of their starters, with the exception, of Yamamoto, who's had a pretty high workload, because they have a huge advantage on Toronto. Gausman's the last guy standing from the beginning of the rotation at the beginning of the year. Cause I mean, Bowden Francis was in that rotation. Like all those guys went down. Like Barrios got hurt his elbow. I think, by the way, Barrios had a UCL tear and they just don't want to tell us. It feels like that. And Bassett's hurt and all those guys. And they have Bieber, who's obviously off UCL. So
right.
I just think I think you're going to get length out of all of the overlook, like how to look at the series. I think that the outs over on the starters, I don't think these guys are getting quick hooks. I think that Roberts is going to let a lot of them pitch out of trouble because I think that he can't trust that bullpen, but he can trust these guys to go pretty deep.
Yeah, I mean, that's to me, that's the Dodgers' biggest advantage by far in this series. Like, I know that the bullpen got a lot of love in the previous series. Well, not even really so much the previous series. I guess really the Phillies series, that bullpen came through big. I also think you would agree that how much credit are we giving to the Dodgers bullpen, and or how much are we just saying that the Phillies bats just kind of like
Phillies just didn't bat. Phillies didn't hit. Phillies didn't hit.
They didn't hit. So I don't necessarily think that their bullpen is just like, oh, well, we fixed all our bullpen issues. No, like I think it's still a pretty mid bullpen.
Sasaki like goes between looking like lights out with a pitch, and he gets rattled very.
He looks
so quickly,
nervous
so nervous.
Time. Like,
I don't want to hear anybody tell me that he's so comfortable under the lights. No, he isn't.
He literally I want to say it was I think it was game 4 against the Phillies. Obviously was like
yeah.
He's like shaking to his core as if he is like standing in 10-degree weather without a coat. Like you can't tell me that was just like, no, like that's just him getting into his form and stuff. I'm like, he is sweating more than Carlos Rodon and just shaking. And every single pitch that he threw, you just could kind of see like this could go sideways like very fast. So I mean, the key I think for Toronto is going to be, I mean, what are they going to get from Yesevich? Like, can he do the same thing that he did in game 2 of the ALDS and then game 6 of the CS? If he can really trick Ohtani with the splitter, then I think Toronto is certain. I mean, I think Toronto's very alive. Like, I think this is
I think Toronto's alive.
A way more even series than it should be at 2-1 for Toronto to win. But I favor the Dodgers.
I mean, so it's funny because the funny thing is that the best value, and I did make the bet of Dodgers -1.5 at -115 because they're such heavy favorites that's a great number for them to win it in 6 or less. I just think I think their pitchers are a lot better. Their starters are a lot better. And as much as we like this Toronto lineup, like Isaiah Kiner-Falefa's in this fucking lineup. Like, and he's just like, what are we doing here? So yeah, look, have you thought, so let's kind of we can move to segment 2 as we're just constantly just going to glaze this Jays bet. All right. Well, before we move actually to that, is there are there other markets that you've looked at within for the World Series that you like?
Yes. One that I think, and I got to look and see. So this is just a price that I'm looking at on the Green Book right now. So I think there might be a better price you can find on this because this market's going to be there. But I think Freddie Freeman at 11-1 for most RBIs in the series is just not right. Like, I know, like, this is based on, and maybe I'm a little biased because you and I did bet him for RBI leader, which he's clearly not going to get that for the postseason. But it's not as if they're moving him down in the lineup. It's not as if the situation for him has significantly changed. It's also not as if Freeman's not hitting. He's not hitting, towards that 300 plus mark. I mean, people got to remember too, like I said about Springer being 4th in home runs, Freddie Freeman's one of the greatest postseason hitters in recent.
That's why we took him. That's why we took him in the first place.
Right. So I just think 11-1 for him for RBI leader, and the number is based on he has 1 RBI through 8 postseason games, and yet he's still been getting on base. He's still hitting, and he is 7th in this market as a favorite. Max Muncy is plus 450.
So I love Max Muncy. So the thing is about that bet is that I like Max Muncy for, and again, shout out to Weston, guy in the cornfields, on Twitter, because he turned me on to this, but the Jays don't have any lefty starters. So Muncy's won't be taken out of games. And Muncy's like pretty clutch. He actually arguably was the most clutch other than Cody in that 2020 fake run that they had. And he was playing out of his mind. Then he got hurt again. And his whole thing is just getting hurt, but he's 35-1 for MVP. And so if he leads in RBI, like the thing is about whoever leads in RBIs, you got to check their MVP number, because if you're leading in RBIs, you effectively won games for them. So
I'm looking at the number right now so Freeman is, I mean, he's 20. So I've seen 25-1, but again, that number, you said 35-1 is what you saw for Muncy?
Yeah, for Muncy. I took it.
Oh yeah, I would definitely take that.
I took that, and my Jays liability is I took Bo Bichette, because at 35-1, because if he's back, like they say he's back, he was on pace to just have like 240 hits. Yeah. And
I think he's healthy.
He must be.
Seem like he's like good. Like that
if he's back, we saw Freeman do this last year. I think that's a great bet. So I took that. I took both. I split a unit between the two of them, and then sent that to you earlier today. But 35-1 for both of those guys for MVP. And again, if you don't have any Snell liability, you want him as a World Series MVP.
I wanted to make a case to see, like, can I bet something on Tyler Glass now? Because he's not ever healthy, but he's healthy right now, and he's like clearly got his stuff back right now. He's only going to pitch in probably one game now. So you're not going to. There's no way, like, he's 60-1 for MVP, but there's no way I would ever take. I don't know if there's ever been a World Series where a pitcher has won MVP and only had one start. He would literally have to like pitch like a no-hitter. In order to have a chance. So
that's why I like Snell, because he could pitch 3 games.
Well, he could also, he could either pitch 3 games. He could start 2 games and then pull a Bumgarner.
Yeah.
Or he could literally start 3 games.
That was awesome when Bumgarner did that. That was really fucking cool.
That was
that was like really, it was really awesome. That was like
the one thing I was hoping, like, if the Tigers had made the World Series, it's like,
they would have totally done that.
They would have they would have had Skubal throw 4 games. Like, they would have just had to keep throwing them out, and it would have been great. But which also, by the way, Tarek Skubal still is your strikeout leader for the postseason.
I know. He has about 39.
No, 30. He had 36 in what? 3 starts?
Yeah. And one of them he didn't get shelled. He just gave up 2 solo home runs.
Yeah.
All right. So we talked about, we moved it up and we talked about how we ended up on that Jays thing. So we wanted to talk about who we're looking at for next year early. Mm-hmm. I don't think numbers are up already, are they? No, I can't imagine.
We can talk about like a team that we would like that fits potentially.
They're not up. They're not up yet.
No, trust me. I looked at Bookmaker. I looked at Bet Online today because I was like, oh, I wonder if they're going to have World Series futures for 26. These will get posted though right after the World Series ends. So I bet you we have numbers for this in like what a week.
I mean, like, because like again, like the biggest thing then why I took Toronto was it was a team that I was not low on, and I thought that they were priced in the wrong band.
Yeah,
they were priced in a band of being a terrible team. So
I know.
So yeah, tell me yours. Tell me what you were thinking about a team that you're thinking of, because I'm a little chalkier.
I had 2 teams I thought of for this. One of them was, I think the one that like is not as insane is the Miami Marlins, and I know that they won't spend. So the fear is the 2 teams I was thinking of was like these are both teams that are not going to spend, but I do think Miami has like a bunch of at least pieces there that they've also got a lot of young guys, and they play in a division that like I think we'll get to this when we get to like team previews and stuff, but I could see a little bit of a drop off from Philadelphia. I don't know what the Mets are going to do, but they have a lot of issues that they also kind of need to fix. And the biggest thing for the Marlins is, are they going to be able to get starting pitching next season that they would be able to ride for most of the season? I think you were a Jansen Junk guy, weren't you? Didn't you like Jansen Junk?
I mean, he was a big Yankees prospect. I thought he did well down the stretch for them.
I thought he was pretty good too. Weathers was good down the stretch. They've got a couple of, in terms of their pipeline, it's not one of the better ones, but the guys that they do have in their pipeline are both. You've got Thomas White and Robbie Snelling, who they both can call up. Thomas White is a dude. He's definitely coming up next year as a lefty. Snelling also a lefty, also in AAA. Like, they have some options to call up. Their price is just going to probably be like, you're going to get them at 50 or 60 to 1 for something like that.
For World Series or for the pennant?
To make the World Series. To make the World Series, not to win the World
Series. I don't know. I don't think. Yeah. We're talking about getting them for pennant.
I
think 50 or 60. I think they'll probably be 50 to 1.
Yeah. So that's the one that I'm kind of like, I want to see what they do in the offseason, but I've got my eye on them. I also, I wish there was a way that I could like find some like way to convince myself that the Pirates could like generate a lineup, because they just have so many good young players coming into that rotation, and like they have the number one prospect in baseball right now. Like, that's no joke. Like, they have Connor Griffin is, he's supposed to be like the Roman Anthony for next year. So, yeah. But it's the Pirates. I would never make this bet because of the organization. I'm just saying they will have assets like you wouldn't believe called up next year, and I think they're going to be at least a little bit better than we anticipate. So yours was a little bit.
I wonder if they're going to be. They're going to be like the White Sox in that they're going to be fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The Marlins.
I'll be on. I might be on their team, their win totals. So I'll say that.
The Marlins, it's hard for me to get there unless I see the number. It's good. The Marlins are going to end up being one of those things where it's to make the LCS might be a better floor almost. But I mean, because actually they're going to probably be longer than that. They were not good. So
they weren't as bad as you think. Like,
I know, but the thing is, it's more just that like they're gonna.
They have 79 and 83. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, their roster uncertainty is not.
I agree. That's why I'm saying we're doing this podcast on October 22nd. Like, I want to see what happens in the off season, but if they were returning their core, if I think that they are going to be able to like fix some of the pitching stuff, and maybe they keep Sandy. I think that like this team showed that like they've got enough pieces to be pretty good.
I think Sandy's going to be there. I don't think they're going to trade Sandy in the winter meetings. I think Sandy.
No, I think they're going to wait till the deadline.
I think they're wait till the deadline. It was one that you had talked about when we did our teams we're looking at for next year. I think the O's are going to be in a really good spot. I just think it sounds like. Besides getting brutalized by certain injuries and having no real pitching staff, Trevor Rogers was arguably the best non-freed lefty.
Trevor Rogers,
non-through ball lefty. He was he only gave up more than 2 earned runs once all season. It was the last game of the season, and so he was really good. I think they're going to move Eflin and get some pieces. I like the O's. The market should be hopefully lower on them next year. I mean, we talked about. I wonder if they trade Adley to the Phillies. I don't know, but there's a couple things there that I liked. I'll probably bet the Rangers again. I think Skip was a really good hire.
I did too, but I didn't know if I could pick them for this because I think they're going to be. I don't think they're going to be in that range that we saw Toronto.
Yeah, I think that the O's will be 25-30 to 1.
I think the O's will. Yeah, definitely.
And then I think that the Rangers will probably be. I have to start doing my sheet, but the Rangers will probably be 20 to 1. I guess tops. Not like they're like one band down because they were a 500 team.
I wish
Royals. A lot of people will be on the Royals. I bet.
We did bet.
Oh, the Guardians.
The Guardians.
I mean,
the team that won 8 games above expectation of what they were supposed to win.
They told. Did you see what they said to Klaus? They were like, you can't go to another league to pitch. You're just like, he asked about going to Arizona Fall League, and they're like, or Venezuelan League, and they were like, no, you're not going anywhere. We're not paying you.
Class A?
Yeah.
What are they doing? They're just like pulling a.
I don't know. They're just basically making sure.
And they're like,
they're making sure they
sit at home.
They're making sure they don't have to. Yeah, pretty much. They're making sure they don't have to pay them. So
yeah.
But yeah, I mean that team interests me. The Marlins aren't uninteresting. It's now you got me thinking about this Pirates team, how I want about it. I don't know. Well, we're gonna end up doing like a bunch of different team previews, and as things happen, and there'll be a lot of emergency pods when deGrom inevitably is traded, and things like that. Oh, I bet you. Yeah. I think
he's only got one more year left.
I think that the Rangers are going to trade him. If I'm the Rangers, I trade him. And if I'm the Rangers,
you know what team I'd love to. I was literally about to say, I was like, you know what team would.
In fact, I'd say it right now. We'll bookmark this, but I could see deGrom ending up back on the Mets. It makes a lot of sense for both sides.
For him in July, like at the deadline, people were trying to come up with ways to, and that's like one player that I think Stearns would be willing to, like jump a little bit deeper in the pool. Like he's not a guy that typically goes after high profile pitchers like that. I think because of the history, and he was healthy. deGrom was great.
He had these weird things where he didn't start for 2 weeks, but he was great. I thought he was great.
Was that deGrom though, or was that like the Rangers just being weird?
I think it's probably the Rangers being weird. I think he's going to get traded to the Mets. I really, really do genuinely think that.
Is he 34 now?
Yeah. But he had a great year. He's a top 5 year. He's top 5 pitcher easily.
Many, but Zach Wheeler was 36 and had an awesome year.
They're downplaying Zach Wheeler like returning.
At all?
At any form. At any reasonable form. So
deGrom 37, by the way.
Oh wow, so really? He's older than Wheeler?
Yeah, he's 2 years older.
That's wild. Yeah. First full season since 2022. Or no, since 2022. All right. What's next on our list here? Okay, what did you
wanted to bet on and talk about?
What did you bet? What did you not bet today that you wanted to bet? I've been just all about hockey.
Can I talk about NBA starts last night. I know like I'm not a huge NBA guy and betting NBA, but I was like, you know what? It's the opening game. Like I'm gonna go bet. I like the Rockets, so I bet them at 6.5 last night. And I mean, it ended up being a great game. It was a double overtime game, but it just reminded me why betting. I don't want to have Sean hear this, but I'm just going to say it out loud. Like betting the NBA sucks. Like
it does suck.
Especially if you're betting spreads or totals and you get to that point where it's like, there's a minute to go and you know you're covering, or you know that you're going to hit the under or the over, but that your team's only up 2 or you're only down 2 and you just can see overtime coming. Man, is that like one of the worst feelings. Because you're just like, why was I so stupid to bet this stupid sport? Like if it goes,
KD still went under his points prop with 2 OTs. He still went under.
Yeah. And they needed him to score too, but I don't know. That was just my thing with the NBA being back. It's like, I know it's on. I'll probably be betting it here and there, but not looking forward to dealing with the load management and how many times, especially when college basketball comes, I'm going to get screwed on overtimes.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about NBA also is, as a dad, the lineup, you can't cap NBA. I don't know how you cap NBA and be a parent, because the lineups all happen.
First conversations, I feel.
The lineups happen as soon as your kids get home from school. Like that is literally like the witching hour. It's 4 to 6 for lineups is when the news drop happens. What are you supposed to do? Sorry, babe. I can't watch the kids right now. I gotta do NBA lineups. Like that's not happening.
Sorry,
so I kind of given up on it.
I get diarrhea every day at 5:30.
Yeah, it's just not gonna happen. So I'm giving up on it. There's a couple angles that I have liked that I reminded Sean today and we bet it, but bad teams against, so the dog in the game, if they're road, really just if they're anything is just a significantly possibly worse team, third quarter money line is always going to be like plus money. And it's because they're usually down by a amount at halftime. And so they're going against the B squad, the non-closeout crew for the third. We just cashed it on Miami. We're about to cash it, hopefully, on the Nets. And then, but that's a nice bet that I had last year a lot. That let's see what happened. Did we cash it on this? No, we pushed on the Nets. 34 points for them, 34 points for Charlotte, and then I took the Spurs and I took the who was the other one that I just took? I took the Kings Q3. But that's it. Q3 plus money lines. That's it. I'm not dealing with any of this other crap. I don't want to deal with any of it. I hate this league. So it's a bad product. It's terrible. I don't care about it. So
also, don't think you have an edge by betting. Like, if people tell you like, oh, just bet the NBA live when the teams get down 10, they always make runs. It's like, yeah. Like every fucking book accounts for that. Like it's
every book accounts for that.
That's not an edge.
Do what you and I did, which is DVig against FanDuel and start betting props an hour before tip. Watch what happens to your account. Well, first of all, if you like seeing CLV on your Pickett account, it's great for you. It is because you will get 80% CLV on most props. You will also you will destroy your account. That is what happened, which led to that Jays bet.
Luckily, you can still get the Jays bet in before it does
so
destroy
funny.
your account. I think you had like a 2-week stretch there where your CLV was like you kept sending me screenshots every day. You're like,
it was like, here's my Yahoo rebounds that I got 70% CLV on there, like, and he still didn't hit it. It was just all right. So this is a short episode that we want to do on the baseball stuff because we are winding down baseball. Big thanks to our sponsor, Hall of Fame Bets. If you're watching, there's a QR code. If you're not watching, use code DADS, HOFapp.com. Like I said, like you can use this for college. I cooked on them with them for college this past weekend because I'll go to the trend screen and I'll go to first half totals and I'll mess with that. I always kind of pair it also with like Rhythm. Like if Rhythm really likes it, free shout out to Rhythm. If Rhythm really likes what they're doing, I will
I wasn't going to do
double slam it.
So
yeah. I mean, it's great. Yeah. It's fine. Like there's transparency. They are a PR client of mine, but they are like. So I look to them as like, what's the prediction, and then I look at the data splits on HOF, and what's great is like I'll put it all together, and if they both line up, I'm just like, oh, this is a nuke. And it's been really good for splits in college, and it's been really good for NHL, which is not supported by barely anybody. I've been crushing that one. So yeah, that's it. Hall of Fame Bets. Use code DADS. All right. Spencer, our producer, is at Spencer_Ray. CJ is at Dads That Bet. And I'm at Hey Rosenberg. We will do another show next week, and it'll be football, and we will be at the midpoint of the football season, which will be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We're all Colts fans.
Sad. That's sad for me, though. That's realizing we're already almost halfway done with football. Man.
We're like very much almost done on college. All right. So all those things he'd said in a shorter episode than usual. CJ, what is the final word?
Springer!